Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Natural Health News live show. I am your host, Dr. Melissa Gallagher, and welcome to all of you joining. I'm so curious as to who all is joining us today. We have such an international community, and I'd love for you to start off. Let's start off with an introduction, comment in the chat box below, as well as in the comment box over on Instagram. Let me know where you're tuning in from this morning. So welcome to all of you. We're going to dig into the stressful topic of COVID stress and anxiety. And I'm going to offer you several options and solutions. We're going to talk about also how to recognize the stress of this pandemic on your body and on your health. And I think this is really critical because I'm hearing a lot of you feeling frustrated, stressed out, having anxiety, flaring, having more swelling, having all sorts of challenges, sleep troubles, and things like that. So we're going to address that this morning. And importantly, we're going to go over a whole bunch of news. So let's dig in. And good morning. I see some regulars, Kay Jefferson, JP Soso, Kathy Davis, and Michelle. Good morning. And Brenda, we've got Floridians on, and Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa Homa, and Kim Newton. Good morning. Yay, Boston. And Cassie's over in Missouri. And we've got Lynette 623, Texas. So welcome. I'm grateful for your time. And I promise you this video, if you're watching it on the live or the replay, this will be highly impactful. For all of you watching on the replay, I will be putting in the notes below. If you want to skip through the COVID surge news, you can find where we get into the real detail about stress and anxiety, how to recognize it, things to do. All right, so the CDC has recently, like yesterday, they released a new projection here in the US in terms of what they're projecting by August in terms of the fatality. So there have been some adjustments and changes given the last week and the explosive records that have been setting. Just overall, in a matter of a day, the US posted over 62,000 new positive cases. So this is the projection. It's a tighter projection. It's not overwhelming, but I'll show you as we get into some of the states. Some of the projections are pretty scary in terms of the surges that people are experiencing. So this is looking at the fatality projections. We now have a new epicenter, and we'll dig into who is dealing with that. And I know that's going to cause a lot of people stress and anxiety. All right, so worldwide, we surpassed over 13 million cases. So now we have 13,113,000 plus cases worldwide. The US is now at 3.42 million. Actually, to be exact right now, 3,428,462 positive cases. The sad news is that we're now at over 137,500 fatalities. We added 422 more fatalities. So 422 American citizens died yesterday, one single day. Positive news here is that almost 1 million have recovered. So that is really positive. Again, I try and look for those rainbows. And so we have almost 1 million. It's literally 999,968 individuals have recovered. Globally, Brazil is still increasing. They're at 1.8 million cases. India is also seeing some significant increases. They're at 911,000 cases. And Russia is at 733,000. They are planning tomorrow to be lifting the 2-week travel quarantine. So if you traveled in, you had to quarantine for 2 weeks. We also see Peru and Chile also lagging behind Russia. I do want to highlight one little tidbit of international news. In Hong Kong, not quite sure the details on how this all happened, but there was a blood transfusion where a 35-year-old individual received a blood transfusion of a COVID positive donor. And so that is very, very concerning. And that was reported yesterday. Oh, you guys like my earrings? Yes, these are toilet paper earrings. They're really cute. I actually have links on Etsy down below. There's several, but this one's the original vendor. She's awesome. And it just commemorates the toilet paper crisis of 2020, we might still be in it. And so I hope it makes you laugh. That's the purpose for which I wear these. Okay, so here in the US, again, yesterday we had a big day, 62,000 positive cases. Currently, 1 out of 100 Americans has COVID. Or if you're one of the almost 1 million, you might have recovered, but that is significant. Our positive percent cases, so the amount of tests that are being run, the percentage positive is something that is of major concern. That indicates if states are showcasing higher, anything over 5 is significant. Anything over 10, double digits, is more overwhelming. When we're in the almost 20s, 30s, we're seeing Arizona and Florida in that zone. It's indicative that basically those states are only really testing the most sick or the sickest. But there are a lot of people that are asymptomatic that might be not being tested. Hey, buddy, do you want to say hello to everybody? Here, come show me your cute shirt. Is this not the cutest shirt? It says, "Take me to your leader." You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi, everybody. No, not right now. Hey, listen, mommy's got to work. Will you go see daddy? Okay. All right. So we're still waiting on the bead to pass through. Fun times. Go see daddy, honey. Okay. Will you close the door? Thanks. All right. So, so the positive percentage, percent positives is critical. I do want to highlight for all of you in California, you guys have rolled back into more substantial quarantine, staying at home. The reason for that is California has had some spikes, particularly the hospitalizations have increased by 28% in 2 weeks. So it is mostly to help circumvent the overwhelm in the healthcare systems. So the reversal started, I believe it was yesterday. Also, LA and San Diego, those school districts have announced that they will be going virtual only as school returns. And there were some communication, unfortunately, it's so insane. You know, the principals that all gathered, there was one person who tested positive. And we're also seeing that in other school districts where teachers are coming together for meetings, and there's just that minimal exposure is causing positive cases. Florida continues to spike, and I'll go through some of the states, but I want to highlight this. This is just insanely overwhelming. So this is the data of the cases, different points where, you know, they started reopening, then different things like Miami opened, the Florida Surgeon General calls for mask wearing in public, the travel quarantine. Excuse me. Excuse me. We were outside a lot, so I got some allergies. So the July 12th, Florida set their record high. So that was over the weekend. It was over 15,000 cases. Yesterday, they didn't set a record, but they were at 13,000. So Florida is just seeing a massive increase. And Miami now is the epicenter. So if you are in South Florida, Miami-Dade, you guys are just blowing up. So the CDC released on their website, and I'll post this. This is a real easy download. This breaks out your state, where you're charting some projections in terms of the amount of cases, and then the fatalities. So Alaska, they've got all sorts of projections. So Alaska is growing. I think part of it is possibly Alaska. People might be going up there for summer holiday and vacations and things like that. So we're definitely going to see some spikes in a multitude of areas, like Arkansas is showcasing spikes, California, Florida on here. There are a lot of different projection models, but this is something that seems to be updated every week, you know, and it's based on the data that they are collecting. Whether the data is 100%, it at least gives us some sort of predictive tool. I do want to highlight that, so Miami is now the official epicenter. They have had just an overwhelm to the healthcare system. 98% of the ICUs are at full capacity or there's a 98% ICU capacity in all of the Miami-Dade hospitals. That's up by over 60% in 2 weeks. The other challenge that Florida has is that there are a lot of uninsured individuals. So there's 13% of the Floridian population are uninsured, and Florida did not choose to have the Medicaid expansion. So that is going to have, we are going to have substantial there will be incurred costs associated with that. So I just want to put that out there. We do know COVID is an expensive diagnosis with all the multi-system involvement and the multiple levels of care and therapeutics now we're seeking, starting to employ. But just, I put that out there. That also might factor into the degree of care people get, unfortunately. And in Pinellas County, that's the county I grew up in, the teachers, so Florida teachers are really, really up in arms about the reopening plan to be in person. And right now, today, our Pinellas County teachers, they're holding a rally, they're protesting, and I have a lot of friends that I grew up with and people I know from school that are going to the rally. So that is what's kind of going on in Florida. There's a lot of stuff. The cases are just increasing substantially. And we're not seeing any kind of rollback on the reopening plans just yet. I do want to highlight that regarding Florida, so, Disney opened on Saturday. Apparently there was two YouTubers that did a collab together, and they went to the park, they were fully masked, and they did a YouTube live. So they go live, and in going live and they were like channel something about like Disney love or whatever. One of the individuals gets really sick, and they journal all of this. The one individual ends up violently vomiting and having high blood pressure, and they go to the medic's office, and they recommended she go to the hospital, and she refused medical advice. But that is the concern with reopening the parks is, whether she has COVID or not. Supposedly it's not, but she could have something else. And that is just another aspect of just the craziness. It could very well be heat stroke. Who knows? She could have food poisoning, but in a time of COVID, that is highly stressful. It's just so hot. The other thing I want to highlight about Florida, I've got a lot of news. So there are over 8,000 patients right now hospitalized because of COVID. So that is their core diagnosis. And that is statewide. There is, and this is actually one of my friends in Sarasota knows this principal, but there's been a principal in Sarasota that contracted COVID from gathering with other educators in a meeting, kind of a pre-planning preschool meeting. Nobody was really wearing masks, and she was hospitalized, I believe, for 5 or 7 days, and journaled it all through Facebook. My friend kept posting about it, but that has now made national news. Futuristic, thank you for the $5 live super chat. I appreciate it. Rallies and protests outside. So there's several aspects: social distancing, being outdoors, masking, and especially in Florida, people are wearing sunglasses. So there's eye protection, nose and mouth protection. That the risk of transmission, especially also with the density of the hotter, humid air, there's less of a transmission. So that is one of the reasons why I know it doesn't seem like it makes sense, Kathy, but that's why. So it totally does. If you look at just the way that this is aerosolized, and also, a very big difference of going into church where people are getting transmission. They're also eating in restaurants and things like that. So just know that there is a reason, and outdoor activities are on the lower risk scale. Whether you agree with it or not, you're less of a risk being outdoors than you are being enclosed inside, whether it's work or a church outing or a social outing at a friend's house. So just know there's different levels, and I've highlighted that. So if you want to go into that, I've got video that digs into that. So, okay. Georgia is increasing here in our area. Atlanta schools, they determined yesterday, Atlanta schools are going to be going virtual. come the fall, which is, I think we're at like 25 days to go. I do want to highlight that the states that are seeing increases in the fatalities, there's several of them, and I'm going to list them. So if you live in this state, these the fatalities are linked to tests and infections 2 to 3 weeks ago. So there's a lag time of when people get tested and infected to the time that the virus really starts to infiltrate all different systems and infiltrate and infect the organs. So we see high increase in fatalities in Arizona, Alabama, Florida, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, Nevada, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, West Virginia, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So that is critical. So if you are in those states, those are right now the highest fatality rates. And the other thing that we're seeing is that, and I've mentioned this before, but if any of you, and I know a lot of you have commented, some of you are recovering, you have friends and family that have had or are dealing with COVID, please encourage them to check out this Facebook group. So there is a COVID Facebook group called the Survivors Corp, I think. Yeah, I believe that is. I can't read my handwriting. But there's a Facebook group about COVID. And it's over 70,000 strong. It was started here by a woman, I believe in New Jersey, who caught it in March. She is one of the longer term sufferers. So there's some folks that get over it quickly and others it's longer term. Part of that longer term, especially with cough, the loss of smell and taste and just fatigue, comes from the fact that the scarring, the remodeling of the scarring of the lungs takes so long and has such a broad impact. But that group, they are connecting to an assortment of research studies. And so I just read about the research studies they're linked to. They've linked up with the Stanford University. They have a program called StartX, and it's a biotech startup called Enable Biosciences that actually is connecting up with these survivors and sending them mail-in antibody blood tests. So they can take these antibody, quick little diabetic test, and they can send it in and assess the antibodies or if they have been developed. What we are seeing is the antibodies decrease at 2 to 3 months. We see only about 30 to 50% of the right type of antibodies developing in COVID patients. But this Facebook group, which started to be more social and encouraging and connecting others with individuals, helping them figure out how to deal with all of the residual post-COVID issues, as well as current COVID challenges, it's becoming a research tool. So do check out the replay. I will link that specific group. I think I've requested to be in it because I'm just curious about what they're posting, and I don't know whether or not I will, but regardless, it is a group. Definitely, you have to answer a whole bunch of questions to get into the group. It's private, but I think it will be helpful for a lot of you who might also be waiting on tests because we're seeing those testing delays continue. 4 to 6 days is now moving to 7 and 9 days, and lots of testing delays. So that all essentially yields a certain degree of stress. And I wanted to highlight today. So let me write down my little show marker. So 1855. Okay, so we're going to switch into today's topic, stress and anxiety. I think probably more so now as like California, for instance, is going to lockdown, it just triggers a lot of anxiety. It's triggering the social isolation, and it's causing a lot of stress. And it's very common for people to feel anxious and stressed out, and start to see some changes in physical, behavioral, emotional, and cognitive ways that sometimes you don't always recognize that that's stress related. But I want to kind of detail the breakdown. And then we're going to talk about some of the ways to manage this. So from a natural perspective. But what I look at is we are going to deal with children who are dealing with stress. We're going to be dealing with tweeners and teens who are dealing with the stress of potentially a virtual schooling program, sometimes a change in curriculum, and changes in just the everyday traditional function of going back into school. We're also going to see anxious parents. We're going to see anxious business owners and employees. Just overall generalized anxiety, social related anxiety, and then also a heightened degree of panic, fear, and even obsessive behaviors, OCD, will get more heightened because of this. So, and that includes phobias of all different types. Okay, so I've got this kind of broken down into, we're going to look at behavior first, then we're going to look at your body, then we're going to look at emotions, and then the cognitive aspects. So I'm just going to list some of these details, and you could write, take notes or whatnot, or just kind of check or write down how many in each category you're experiencing. But the serious stress and distress, there are a lot of virtual options that we can send you to. And I'm going to give you a whole bunch of resources as well. So behaviorally, the first sign of stress is either an increase or decrease in energy and activity levels. Also, folks will increase their use of alcohol, tobacco, or illegal drug use. An increase in irritability with outbursts of anger and frequent arguing. And this, you want to also look at children in this particular aspect. We started to notice that a little bit with Gabriel. Difficulty with relaxing and or sleeping, crying frequently, worrying excessively, wanting to be alone most of the time, blaming other people for everything. And that I can also include social media. Never commenting and blasting off on people and being angry and blaming. Check that. Having difficulty communicating or listening. Also with kids, sometimes regressive types of behaviors, inability to communicate properly or get the right words out, and also listening. So kids sometimes will have the brain kind of shut down a little bit. Also having difficulty giving or accepting help, and an inability to feel pleasure or have fun. So that is behavioral in signs of stress. And this is specifically related to infectious diseases outbreaks. So like an Ebola, HIV, any of the major outbreaks. These have been things that have been documented over years in terms of just how pandemics or epidemics affect people. Now in the body, this is really critical. So these are body-related symptoms. Having stomach aches or diarrhea, having headaches or other pains, losing your appetite or eating too much. So if you're noticing there's some degrees of polar opposites, sweating or having chills, getting tremors or muscle twitches, and being easily startled are indicative of the stress impact. The other thing I'm going to add to that is that also if you notice you start to have a flare, so you have some already existing chronic health condition, you notice a worsening of that. You notice a worsening of your lab numbers, your lab values. If you're testing your blood sugar every day, your blood pressure, if there's some spikes in that could be chronic stress in its orientation. So do monitor and make sure you are up on all of your, daily health monitoring tools. Emotionally, this is really critical here. This is where the mental health aspect is coming into play due to stress. So being anxious or fearful, feeling depressed, feeling guilty. And this is also for a lot of COVID survivors are feeling survivor guilt, feeling angry, feeling heroic, euphoric, or invulnerable. And that is really kind of interesting. We are starting to see at least the invulnerable aspect. It could explain why some people are denying this status. It could very well be the stress coming out, and it's the projection of that, not caring about anything, and feeling overwhelmed by sadness. And cognitively, having troubles like the brain fog, having troubles remembering things, being confused, having difficulty with clear thinking, and concentration challenges, having difficulty making decisions, Those are traditional kind of paths or routes that we want to look for. So I want to dig into, and I won't go into the full detail of it, but essentially what's happening in all of these different physical, emotional, behavioral, cognitive related impact, or the cognitive related symptoms. It's the impact of stress. And stress is not just something you can always wish away, it's biochemical. And the biochemistry of stress on the body is very overwhelming. And sometimes when it gets so overwhelmed, it's challenging to control. You can test for your stress. It's actually, we have a stress hormone called cortisol. So you can do saliva testing. We do that. I run those all the time with folks. But you deal with the neuroendocrine imbalances from an excess or a decrease of cortisol. And cortisol tends to be at the root of a lot of body-related imbalances. So a lot of my autoimmune patients, a lot of my lymphatic patients, there's going to be some degree, and this includes men, hormones and stress and all these things. At the heart of the imbalance is cortisol. So I'm going to share with you a few things to help you deal with cortisol. Cortisol has a parasympathetic sympathetic response mechanism. So it can, on its own, give you heart palpitations. It can increase your blood pressure. It can increase your heart rate. The anxiety on by. Oh, it looks like YouTube is buffering. I don't know why YouTube is buffering. Nice. YouTube, you're buffering there for a little bit. So one of the things that I can't stress enough, the importance of stress suppression or balancing the stress levels, the stress hormone. We do that through herbs called adaptogens. That's one of the core ways. Once we get adrenal testing, we can really get specific to, there's certain times of the day where you might be too high with your stress hormone. But Tulsi, holy basil, that's an herb, and rhodiola are my two favorite adaptogens. And they come in this awesome tea. I think I have links to this down below. They come in these little tea bags. They smell so fantastic. Tulsi and rhodiola, they have this really, it's a very nice kind of florally fragrance, very nice flavor when it's in a tea. So drinking stress relief teas, passion flower, hops, chamomile, kava, those are all really good, powerful, just stress reducing, balancing teas. And I see Lori had her Tulsi tea last night. So fantastic. The other thing is also employing healthy habits. So make sure you're eating healthier foods, limiting your sugars, limiting the starchy, quick energy, but low long-term energy output. So making sure you're hydrated well, especially in the summertime. You want to make sure that dehydration isn't factoring into the fatigue and listlessness that you feel. Also limiting tobacco and alcohol and caffeine. All of those things can invigorate your central nervous system, especially caffeine will give you a false sense of energy, but then a lot of people have crashes. The other thing too is making sure you're getting enough sleep. Sleep is one of the best ways, it's our natural mechanism to restore, recalibrate, and balance our adrenal glands. So when folks have the flip-flop sleep cycle, it gets totally skewed. And I have, let me see, do I have it? I don't know if I have it right here. I'm looking at my desk. I've had a lot of content I put out. I don't have it in front of me that I can show you, but the stress, for sleep, REM sleep is my supplement that I recommend, and I'll link down below. Lori says, oh man, no donuts. Yeah, no donuts. Although you could make some, protein dense donuts. But I do want to recommend that if you are not sleeping well, definitely do consider, adding in like a kava tea or some sort of overall global stress balancer and sleep supportive. A lot of the natural sleep aids will have herbals, they'll have botanicals in it to help balance and lower the cortisol level. That's why I love REM sleep. It's such a great product that balances some of those deeper levels of imbalances to help you sleep more thoroughly and soundly. Sometimes just 3 or 4 or 5 days of really solid sleep is enough for somebody to feel recharged and recalibrated. The other thing too is especially in California now, gyms are closing again, is to keep exercising, keep your physical fitness up. Sometimes it could be gardening. Sometimes it could just be taking your animals out for a walk, getting out in nature, obviously social distancing. One of the challenges we've had, we went out that one time to go to the mill where it's a whole, little hiking kind of area. There were a lot of people. And so I got flack for this on social media from the anti-masker, like, oh my gosh, you're at a park and you're wearing masks, but there were a lot of people there. And, this is like a month and a half ago, just about a month, maybe a month and a half ago. People weren't wearing their masks. Even though you're outside, you still want to wear your mask. So just make sure, you're aware of where you're going and keeping and maintaining social distance. The other thing is to employ really good coping skills and mechanisms like adding yoga. YouTube here, and I know a lot of you comment, YouTube has some great yoga resources, free. And taking time to relax, literally decompressing, turning off the TV, getting rid of the news, taking a bath, talking with family, getting out, maybe having a picnic outside, or having a little dance party, or reading your favorite book, or picking up a hobby maybe that really gives you a lot of pleasure, and just really finding fun to do in and amongst the stress that you're experiencing. That also includes children. So we don't want to forget that balance for kids and helping them engaging in some of the mindful meditation and meditative work that yoga can bring. There are some really good yoga and kids meditations. There's one that I do with Gabriel. It's a meditative, a guided meditation on YouTube for children, and we do it right before bed. It's really, really great. But, doing deep breathing exercises, stretching, meditation, and fun hobbies can really offset and balance that energy lull that you feel, and also gets you thinking about something else and giving you pleasure. Oxytocin is part of the releasing that we get with that. The other thing too is sometimes the gratitude journal, and I'll make a note of this. I love the 5-minute journal. I'm going to write that down to link that to you guys. It's not like a planner, but it comes in like, kind of hardbound, and it's a page a day, and you write in. So you could skip, a few days and you're totally fine. But there's several aspects of this journal that help you assess the good things, and it recalibrates your focus. It has you focus on gratitude. It has you focus on things maybe you would change or do differently, and just re-establishes the activities of your day so that they're positive forward in their orientation. I love it. So, one of the things too is to recognize where you are, give yourself grace. A lot of us are putting I'm totally one of those people. I put a lot of pressure on myself and others, high expectations. And sometimes we just have to lower those expectations and have grace. Like, we're all dealing with this craziness. It's not going anywhere. It's getting worse and worse every day. And that can make a lot of us anxious because we feel out of control, feel like people aren't taking it seriously, and we're just stuck and there's like no end in sight. That is totally okay. It's okay to be settled with that. But just recognize your feelings and emotions and focus inward to help serve yourself and to help you and your family balance. And so these are things, questions to ask. I'll post, a lot of these were in guidance by there's an actual association, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Association. It's SAMHSA, SAMHSA. But I will post this. There's a specific download, but they have helpful resources. And there's a distress hotline or helpline that they run, and they have it. You can text them. It's a toll-free number, English and Spanish. But the text is literally, you can send a text, talk with us. You can send that text to 66746. And so that's 66746. That is a location where you can text and communicate with a mental health counselor. It looks like futuristic. We have another $5 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then they also have information to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. They also have treatment referrals, so you can find if you need a virtual mental health therapist, they can connect you up with those. But this is based in Maryland, and it's a really, really good resource for a lot of folks that I think need some assistance in terms of just feeling like you need to talk to somebody. And there's no shame in that. There are often social, familial stigmas of, getting help and talking to somebody. But now more than ever, we are faced with highly stress-inducing information that's swirling around us. We are dealing with changes in our work environment, our family dynamics in terms of, new changes at home. A lot of more people are working at home. Now parents are all dealing with the school situation and lots of stress there. And then possibly return to lockdowns and things like that because things have gotten so out of hand. The virus, it is out of control in a lot of areas. And so these are just some things that you can start to assess the signs and then start to employ some of the practices, particularly cortisol management. So I do want to highlight, there's one of my favorite products. It's a smaller brand called Botanica. They have a cortisol relief product that I adore. And it has all the right compounds in it to help blast away and block excessive cortisol. Not everybody, qualifies to take that, but in the event that you do have cortisol test run and you have high levels and you're having some of those major heart palpitations, anxiety, hair loss, sleeplessness, anger, angst. Oh, Shelly R., we have a $3 live chat. Thank you, Shelly. Big thumbs up. Thank you. It's definitely one of those critical compounds or supplements that can additionally help you. And I take this daily. Like I'm no joke. I usually run stressed out anyway. So this is more stressful. This tea is a constant staple. I love these teas. And I do 2 tea bags in the morning and balance out also some of the other hormones that get imbalanced. So stress skews your neurotransmitters, so your happy feelings and ability to calm your body. It affects your central nervous system. We see changes in inflammatory levels from stress. We see, women decreasing in their progesterone levels. We see men having elevations in prostate challenges. So there are ways to address the root of that chemically, the biochemistry of that hormone, but we can also employ other activities, mindfulness, yoga, stress reducing activities in our lives. And everybody has a different coping mechanism. You just want to choose and employ the healthiest options: exercise, eating right, taking your proper supplementation, making sure you're getting rest, and frankly, tuning out the chaos. Gaia stress response. Yes, got it and haven't tried yet. Okay, good. I like Gaia. Gaia is an awesome brand. They often, the liquid gels are really good. They have rhodiola in their stuff. Cupcake paper says progesterone is calming. And that is absolutely it. The stress, when the female body is producing cortisol, it actually steals the compounds that make progesterone. So you see an instant decrease in progesterone that calms your body and an increase in the ratio of estrogen. And that actually causes less calming. And so combating stress hormone is going to be critical, but also employing some of these activities and then also getting help, reaching out. I think more and more people need to be taking advantage of some of these hotlines and helplines to help themselves. So earthing by Clinton. Yes, grounding. There's all sorts of different ways. I personally love Kundalini yoga. It's not yoga in its true physical yoga sense, but it's all about the breath and tuning into different systems, organs, and glands within the body. Powerful stuff. And Kundalini has been studied extensively in its ability to decrease cortisol levels. Same with acupuncture. But, one of the challenges here is that most of the acupuncture clinics are not fully functional. And in California, they're going to be closing down again. Atlanta, they're closed. But also, you can do acupressure. And so there are acupressure points that will help reduce and relax the stress levels of the body. So it's definitely something to consider. I love that. Tai Chi is another. Qigong is another practice of calming and kind of grounding the body, opening up our energy centers, and nourishing the body. Most of these activities, the benefit here is your breathing. So a lot of it goes into the focus on the motions as well as the breath. And when we do that, the mind actually gets away from the just static of stress, chaos. And so it's such a great adjustment. Vinyasa yoga. Yeah, Lori likes Vinyasa yoga. Good morning, Sewing Queen. And the other, I see somebody is recommending this, and this is always my go-to rescue remedy. This is a really good, this addresses emotional stress. It's not going to address the biochemical, but it does help to balance the emotional stress. So like this is my Teflon spray. I call it Teflon. I just spray on my tongue and let it dissolve. And it has 5 flower remedies that help to calm stress. It has rock rose and clematis, star of Bethlehem. Rock rose and star of Bethlehem are 2 flowers that we use for PTSD, major traumas, lots of stress. Clematis, I actually grow clematis in our garden. It has impatiens and cherry plum. So these are really powerful. I've been trained in Bach flower remedies, so I also do other blends, but this is just an overall really, really powerful emotional balancer. So there's different degrees. And I just want to highlight and recommend that you guys schedule that in. If you are working from home, take time to actually schedule that into your schedule to relax and de-stress. So let's see, any questions? I just want to make sure. June loves her Bach flower remedies. Jenny purchased the Bach flower and the adrenal drops from Full Script. They are awesome. Yeah, so Bach flower, Full Script, we have that there. Also, you can get the Botanica cortisol relief in Full Script. So I've got a link down below on Instagram on the replay and IGTV. I'll post, it'll be up there, description box. But you get an automatic 10% off when you shop my Full Script store. And so you basically log in, you create your own patient profile. It's patient profile. HIPAA is all over that. So we have it HIPAA certified. So your information stays exclusive to you in a patient setting. And you have access to thousands of awesome health and wellness products. And they totally support our channel and our mission here. But they're great because they have a customer service number. They have a chat box. You can call them. They ship really quickly. They have free shipping over, I think, $49. So how do you know which remedy is the best? They have different flower recipes. Yes. So Lori, it's a very comprehensive. I have about a 7-page questionnaire. I dig into all different things. And then based on what we see kind of common threads of stress, we pull that out and do different mixes. But like this is your just kind of staple. Like this has the top 5 for just stress, emotional, angst, all that stuff. But then we'll use really specific ones that are more individualized. But Bach has also the individual flowers, but this is already blended. So this is a great go-to. They have a sleep one. They have for kids. Like I give Gabriel this every night. Sewing Queen says, thank you, Dr. Melissa, for giving us information to help us get healthy and stay healthy. You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so they're fantastic. And this little yellow spray has gotten me through a lot of emotional stress in my life, particularly like business related stress, opening. And we've had, 3 different locations. It's all been really great. Actually, this is our 4th. Yeah, 4th. So crazy. Okay, so let's see. I know what I wanted to tell you. So I've had a lot of you ask, and I plan on doing it, I promise, to do like my get ready with me, wind down with me kind of routine. But I do want to highlight something that's going on through my friends over at AILLEA. They have physical stores in 5 cities, 5 states. But AILLEA, I feel like every quarter they have a special giveaway bag. It's like a bonus bag that when you buy a certain amount of product from them, they have the bag. So I just have to share with you, I'm so excited because I don't know, I can't find it, but they have the Inner Sense I Create Waves. So I have naturally curly hair and it gets really curly back here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is like me going to the Florida beaches. It's this spray. It's a pink Himalayan salt spray that if you want beach hair, beach waves, oh my God, this stuff is so great. I was so excited when I got this in my kit, but they have a whole bunch of stuff. They've got little samples of Kypris. It's one of my favorite brands. A full thing of glaze from Cloven Hollow in this color, really pretty. And oh my God, I love Orgade. They have the Orgade facial mask. They have the anti-aging moisturizing. This is literally a mask. It's just like this sheet and you just put it on your face and chillax. Stress relieving. And they also have in here the One Love Organics. This is a enzyme cleansing oil. I love One Love Organics. I have their clay mask. That's awesome. It's this enzyme mask. It's deep pore cleansing, but also exfoliating. And I love that stuff. So I wanted to share this with you guys because you spend $100 through AILLEA, and I'll make sure I put the links down below. And I've asked them to see if we get a special NHR discount. So I'm working on that. But in the meantime, I actually have to buy a few more items because I'm running a little low on some of my summer related skincare. But they also have really good SPF, like toxic-free SPFs and sunscreens and things like that. But the I Create Waves is the name of this spray. And this is travel size. So when and if we start traveling again, and my hair is starting to dry a little bit more, it takes forever for my hair to dry, but it just curls it up really nicely without craziness. Stacy Kuhn, thank you for the $3 super chat. I'm grateful. Let's see. Jenny says, I always get free shipping. Why? I always wind up ordering more than $49. Yeah. So I'm totally one of those ones that I love the free shipping and I will usually do whatever I need to do to hit that mark. I just look at it as you get a little bit off of, it's like adding a coupon to your order. Okay. So, I hope this was helpful. I'm curious for all of you. I wish I could do a poll situation on YouTube. They haven't figured that out. I'm curious, how many of you are feeling stressed out? And, just maybe comment in the comment box stress or, hand raise. Because it seems like we're all in some degree of stress and it's just affecting a lot of us differently. The timing of it, the length of what we're going through, the degree of overwhelm from the number of cases. I'm seeing a lot of little, yes, me, stress, Tracy, yeah, Pow, thanks, Darlene, you too. Let's see, Kathy's taken her hormones. Okay, so Lori says she got Reloraplex. That also has the same compound. This has a little bit different, but this has the core cortisol reducing compound. So Reloraplex I love to use if you're having trouble sleeping at night, take it right before bed. And it's almost like there's these compounds, there are 2 barks, particular type of trees. The bark of the trees are very beneficial at reducing the enzyme. It blocks the enzyme production of cortisol. And basically it's like when you have a full balloon, it lets it out. It reminds me of my Instapot. So if you feel like your Instapot, it just, when you click that lever and like all the pressure goes out, that's what the Reloraplex and the cortisol reset do. Love that stuff. So yeah, seeing lots of you stressed. Hey, Jana, South Carolina. Let's see. Yeah, lots of stress. And you know what? We're in it together. Some are more stressed out than others. Some are in the denial. I have to admit, I found it very interesting that one of the things that they listed emotionally was like feeling heroic, euphoric, or invulnerable. That invulnerability was eye-opening to me. It explains, for me at least, why there are a lot of folks that, are against understanding the clinical data, recognizing the information about this virus, and being open-minded to it. Like that's their own stress. And like, I have such a compassion now for a lot of the folks who are freaking out, the crazy COVID that I was talking about yesterday. I think that's their stress manifesting. Okay, Tracy, my mom passed away as well of this was beginning, so my grief has also exacerbated. I'm sorry, Tracy. Tracy just commented on Facebook that her mom passed of COVID. Oh, maybe your mom didn't, but your mom, she's reeling from the grief and the loss of her mother. I'm so sorry about that. God only knows, can it help you lose weight as well? Oh, yes. So one of the things that is the negative of cortisol and stress is that it's the whole fight or flight system, and it triggers your body to begin trying to protect your core organs. And that actually involves a metabolic change and a slowdown in the metabolism, but also an accumulation of weight around the core organs. So we'll see, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, flanks, butt, thigh related weight gain. From diagnostically, we can also look at people's bodies, like when they're standing, what their abdomens look like. And there are certain kind of ways people hold hormonal imbalance and stress related imbalances. And, definitely adrenals are part of that. And stress will vary. Like Letitia said, stress varies. Good morning, all. Stress, Joanne, is definitely, yeah. And Jenny said, yes, the fact my husband is stressed impacts me. Yes. So, when we are living with our friends and family, particularly, their stress, we absorb that. And so we also have to monitor that. So, we're definitely, this time is just so crazy. So I do want to report, let's see, tomorrow, I'm waiting to see if the CDC makes some changes to the guidelines. Supposedly yesterday's statement was the CDC is not going back on any information about school reopenings. I think the public backlash to the idea of them being encouraged to scale back was met with resistance. So that's good. Oh gosh, Lori went to a double funeral Friday. Both died from COVID. Most people in the funeral home took off masks as soon as they came in. Crazy and stressful. Yeah, I don't advise doing any of those activities. And that actually is what the Sarasota principal I highlighted. She went to a meeting, nobody was wearing their masks. And it just takes one person, one asymptomatic carrier to infect everybody. And we are seeing that impacting, like where the spread is, they're in the, long-term care, nursing facilities, the SNFs, the ALFs, the assisted living facilities, schools. So we're seeing them in offices, we're seeing them in restaurants, we're seeing them in the enclosed spaces. That's why the outdoors is so much less of a spread. I wish funeral homes would do Zoom or live streams of the funeral so people can pay their respects in a social distanced way, or would adhere to social distancing guidelines. I'm curious, Lori, how many people were at that funeral? Let's see. Oh, yes. So Pat's reminding you, please give us a thumbs up. I totally forgot to ask for that. Give me a thumbs up. It does help the whole YouTube algorithm. It's actually changed, by the way. So for all of you on YouTube, I've been getting a lot of comments and I've dug into it. They've changed the algorithm. It's just the way the AI brain thing works. And there is something called Google Brain. It's part of the censoring that occurs, but also it's just how they pump out content based on your preferences. So one of the things that has changed is that if you had originally clicked on notifications for my channel or any channel, those have been automatically at default. So often you have to reestablish that you want to get notified on any of my content that includes community tab posts and polls and live shows. So do reassess. You go to the bell, like on my main channel, click the bell, and you can then adjust your notification. Just adjust it to all. Apparently that got reset, unbeknownst to us. Usually we learn after the fact from you all. Changes. Lori had a protection on, had to hug my friend, lost her sister and best friend. About 50 to 60 people, no social distancing. Yeah, so that could very well be a spreading point. So, and it's stressful, the loss of a loved one and not always having the closure. How do you weigh that as a family? And I'm just shocked that a funeral home would not employ those social distancing measures. Yes, God only knows it can get into your eyes too. Absolutely. And that's why I recommend these face masks. Let's see. I don't know where my open one. That's why I recommend these. So I have links down below. I have links down below to the masks. My friend Sarah is making the masks on Etsy. I've got them over there for my video that I'm working on. But I have these masks here. These are more in 95-degree masks. They're cone shaped, so they're a lot easier to breathe. That vendor has given us 10% off. So you can grab a whole bunch of these. They have these. They have a whole bunch of other kind of COVID-related protection and protective gear. But I've got a link down below if you want to grab those. Also, Sarah. Oh, the service was live streamed on YouTube. Okay, that's good. Margaret says, I'm not always aware of how stressed I am. Now I am aware because of my upcoming surgery. 2 of my family are coming to help me. I'm used to being alone. And that surgery is going to be physically and chemically stressful. So definitely prepare yourself, start to address your stress levels before surgery. I actually have a pre and post-surgical guide I've written. I work with a lot of pre and post-surgical patients. So do check that out, Margaret. It's an easy download. It digs into like how to prepare so that you have the most healing process after and get back to normal. The face shields. Yay, Stacy. Jana, my uncle will be buried tomorrow. Funeral home guidelines are only 20 people for 1 hour viewing, the burial with only queue. Only 12 chairs. Okay, that's good. Yeah, and so, the funeral homes are going to be hopefully adhering to that. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's see. Melchiori, Gaffney Melchiori. I was arguing on Facebook about no markers. I must stay away from Facebook. Yeah, I hear you. So it seems that my anti-maskers, COVID deniers that really went all nutso on my Facebook page, they've all kind of disappeared or unfollowed, which is totally fine. All right, Virtual Victoria, we love you. My husband discovered he had lymphoma in December caused by a hernia repair. Oh, geez, 3 years ago. Your information has brought his problem under control, rebounding daily and doing the drops. Yay, lymph stem is awesome. I love that stuff. And Margaret, definitely post-surgically, grab your lymph stem. You can grab that in the Full Script store. Lymph stem is going to help your lymphatics come back together and really help ease some of the inflammation at the surgical site or whatever they're doing surgery on. Very powerful. It'll get fluid flushing, significant benefit. I love that stuff. That's huge. It's great for everybody. If you want to move your lymphatics, you want to improve your immune system, it's, part of the dry skin brushing and the rebounding, exercising protocol. I love it. Yeah, Julianne says, I'm so sorry for those who have lost someone they love or people they are close to. It's such a challenging time, and we don't have the ability to really kind of deal with the loss like we're used to. All right, Instagram, you guys are going away. I've got 10 seconds left. Michelle and everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Join me on YouTube next. I'm still going. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Okay, let me just grab this. Let's see, download. Let me share it to Instagram. Okay. So yeah, it's challenging. Genji, I'm heading for my colonoscopy shortly. Have my gear to wear during the procedure. Do you have any last minute advice on how to stay protected? I would do any of your immune boosters, take those with you. You probably, they usually kind of have you refrain from taking stuff right before, but definitely after, just literally have those locked and loaded, like as soon as you're getting dressed. Just, your sprays, any of if you have even the daily stress spray, here it is. The daily stress spray, that's huge. The other thing too, I love this also. This coincides with my lymph stim post-surgically too. The liquid's good for moving lymphatics, minimizing inflammation. Sometimes in colonoscopies, they'll actually remove polyps and things. So they're going to leave an internal injury. I mean, it's minor, but you might be dealing with that. And so that is a really good resource too. Jana's got surgery coming up. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm putting my stress into household projects and not focusing on what's happening. That sounds like us. Brian's decided we have 3 parts to our whole house remodel because the kitchen had a huge flood. I was traveling for my teaching, lymphatic teaching. I got a call. I literally just landed and he's really upset. There's water everywhere. And we didn't realize there was a leak underneath our sink. And so it just ruined all the wood. And because we have most of our downstairs area wooded, they have wood floor, that has to get replaced. And then the cabinets are older and they were ruined. And so ultimately we're getting a whole brand new kitchen. But because of that, we decided we're going to do some home remodeling and expand our kitchen a little bit, which then takes some of our projects upstairs to move. We're going to move our laundry room upstairs into our master closet. And we have this huge alcove right now. I've shot video in my alcove. If you watched any of my rebounder videos, that's this master alcove. That is where now I have all my fitness and health and wellness stuff set up. So we're going to move all my stuff out and turn that alcove into a closet. It's basically 3 or 4 extra feet from our normal closet. So Brian has decided he's going to do the framing. So we got a quote for it. It's really expensive. So instead of having somebody come into our house, he's going to do that. That is our thing. We have been doing home related stuff. I'm trying to declutter and get rid of excess clothing. I've held on to all of Gabriel's stuff and stuff from my old days of my business. I have still some cash register stuff and credit card scan stuff. I haven't used that, in 5 years. When we went to Square, it's really funny. So it's a good time to go inward. I was talking with one of my cousins. She's like, backyards are all, everybody's really improving their backyards and spending a lot of time on their houses. And there's nothing wrong with that, reinvesting in things that make you happy. And your home is your mecca. Your home is your safe space. So investing in it to make it healthy and safe and warm and enriching is never a bad thing. I think it's a worthy investment. Joanne, yeah, it's a huge project. So that is, we literally went from, okay, we're going to need new flooring. Then it was okay, we can't replace these. We can't get the same cabinet. So we're redoing the whole entire kitchen. And then our Florida house, it's not common, but more 2-story homes are coming in Tampa. And so our new house in Tampa had laundry upstairs. And I tell you what, there's a big, it is a game changer having laundry where your rooms are and all your clothing is. And we just have this laundry pileup that's always a mess. And so we are going to change where our refrigerator is and we're moving stuff, knocking down one partial wall. It's exciting. And the contractor, I don't know if I told you guys, he was in on Friday. We were going to get some more quotes on the stuff. So to do the kitchen stuff, we've got to clear out and move the laundry room up. So we've got several stages of all of this. And we're also, because the wood floor, they have wood flooring in the bathroom, which is insane. So disgusting. So we're getting different flooring in the downstairs bathroom. And with that, we're going to redo that bathroom. And we're going to put in a window so I can actually grow some nice green plants. But yeah, there's so many different stages of this, and it's one of those things we don't necessarily want to have somebody in our house. But the contractor said they'll do whatever we want. They'll wear hazmat suits if we want them to, which, yeah, totally. I will do that. I'll run my UVC stuff, my sanitizing items. But, the big question is, we need to pick out our materials. And to do that, we're going to have to, it's one of those things, I feel like you have to touch and feel, and you have to go to a showroom. And I don't know how we're going to figure that one out, but we can definitely frame the closet. I think we looked at ordering like one of those, it's not a California closet, but one of those like pre-made ones. We were looking at IKEA, but we can you can do all your dimensions and then pick out all the things you want, and they just send it to you and you assemble it. So that's kind of exciting. And I'm working with Brian on this, but I want a chandelier in my closet with like a little mini island in the middle where I can put my jewelry and stuff so that I can see all my things. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'll probably journal some of that for sure on Instagram as we start kicking that into high gear, which it looks like probably this weekend Brian wants to start framing out the master alcove, which means we have a guest bedroom up here that has my old bed and my old dresser. So we're going to sell those, but then that's another, like, how do you get that out and how do you have somebody pick it up? But that room will then turn into being our wellness room. And so I have my infrared sauna, my solo pad and all that in there. And so we'll have kind of a wellness center room. I've kind of taken over a lot of the rooms. Gabriel and I, poor Brian needs like a man cave. But yeah, so that's exciting. In Velasi Boed, please share the links. So the kids' masks are linked down below. I've got a lot of links down below. Colors are different online, in person. Yeah, so that is definitely one of the things. Oh, Kathy loves Sarah's mask. So well made. Where are the inserts for those? So I actually have them. I need to post those. It's on my big to-do list of trying to manage mommy camp, schooling, all that stuff. So let me just make a note. Inserts. Yeah, so we're excited about our home project. Oh gosh, most of the donations are still not being accepted in New York. I know they opened them up, but I was even talking with the one mom that we met up with for the play day, and she was like, I don't even want to drop things off at Goodwill or wherever. So she's like, I'm just thinking about sticking stuff at the end of my driveway and telling our neighbors, come and get it. So, but for some of the stuff we're going to sell, we have big pieces. Like we've got, literally I have strollers. We've got all of Gabriel's baby stuff, the baby mattress. So I need to start posting on Facebook. What is funny, I did post, we got rid of, right when this began, before it got really bad, I had purchased Brian a green egg, and we had his old grill in the garage. And so he's like, we need to make room for the kitchen, that like we have all our stuff in the garage. Even our dishwasher was in the garage. So I had to make some room. And I posted on the Facebook Marketplace, and people were like, my wife loves your channel. So it was kind of funny. Some of the people bought this stuff, follow me on YouTube, on YouTube. So I thought that was kind of funny. Is there a link for the hairspray? So Constance, I will post a link. So I'll post a link to the website specifically. And oh gosh, it's seriously like, my hair is really, it'll take 3 hours to dry when it gets really bunched up, but it literally, like, I get these awesome curls and they stay together. And yeah, so I love that stuff. And then I just kind of get it little whooshed out. So fun times with curly hair. I usually just put it back in a bun. But yeah, so AILLEA is my favorite brand. And that's actually where I get a lot of my, like, I'll show you if you guys are interested, for all of you still on here. Okay, so one of my favorite things that they have, and I'll make sure I post these individual links. So my thing are eyes. I will do my eye makeup every day. And Aether Beauty is a brand. The owner used to work at Sephora. And I mean, this is kind of messy, but like, this is one of the palettes that they have. And they're crystal in their orientation. So she puts crystal quartz in her makeup, and it's all very clean. As you can tell, I use this a lot. So this is my kind of core palette. This is their rose quartz palette. And she has really beautiful names like Heartstone and Sandust and rose quartz and crystalline. And then they have spirituality, transcendent, third eye, meditation. So she has really good stuff. The other thing that I love, and this is what I'm using right now in my summer mix. I mix this with the Kypris antioxidant dew, which is like a milky cream. But this is pure, like good vitamins. Look at that orange. So this is a Maya Chia. It's called Super Couple. It's chia with astaxanthin, which is a really good heavy antioxidant oil. And this is an oil. Maya Chia is one of my favorite like oil-based skin kind of nourishment. So you have creams and then you have oils, and I will mix the two. The Kypris. Kypris is this one. I didn't bring this in with me, but the brand, it looks like this. It's hard to see. It's got kind of a gold. That's great. But they have an antioxidant too that I just adore. And then the Orgade. I do an Orgade mask every week. This is a must-have for like good skincare. They've got a probiotic one. They've got an anti-aging, sun damage, vitamin C. And then I'm not so much a lipstick user. And Cloven Howell, like if you love bold lips, they do bold lips, but they also have started to do more neutrals. Like I'll do a neutral lip. And most of the time I put it on, I forgot this morning, but it's just real light. And then I, for all of her proceeds go to, or not all, but I think 10% of her, she's donating to the NAACP and is supporting some of the local communities hit hard by COVID and some of the racial discrimination in healthcare. So I love that. But yeah, so those are some of I'm trying to think of what else, but they have bath bombs. Oh my gosh. They have the mermaid. I can't remember the name of it. Okay. So we just buffered. On my Instagram feed, I highlight, they have this dirty mermaid bath bomb, and it's rose infused, like they're rose petals and Epsom salts and a whole bunch of wonderful oils. And it's this bath bomb that is glorious. And I love that. So they have bath bombs. They also have really good, they've got the derma rollers, just really, really high quality products. So I'll post a link to them. And God only knows my hair is naturally curly too. Yeah, mine's gotten curlier the older I get. And it's changed too. I've got a lot of the crazy curls in the back, so it gets really tight. That changed with pregnancy. You prefer your hair curly than straight. Yeah, it's a fight. The humidity is something I just can't control. So I just don't fight it in the summer. Yeah, a lot of times hair changes hormonally. Also, we see that with, cancer patients. They will go through chemo and the hair comes in totally different color, different texture. It's really interesting. Stress has all different, there's a role that stress plays in the quality of our hair, the hair follicle strength, all of that. But yeah, they have some really good hair care products. And like, I love the Rahua, I think is how you say it. It's this rainforest hair formula. And so they have a shampoo and conditioner that is so great. And the pink version smells amazing. Yeah, humidity, frizz. It's just, I can spend all the time I want on my hair. And if I walk outside, it just blows up. And, straight never stays straight. And then if I do any detoxing or sweating outside, instantly it goes curly. So that's why most of the time you guys will see my hair is back. But yeah, this bag is awesome. I feel like they said this bag is valued at $79. So you spend $100 and then you get this bad boy with your purchase, which is great. Oh, and they also have, I forgot, they have an Indie Lee, the Daily Skin Nutrient. Indie Lee's great. She's really cool. And she actually I got the chance to meet her last year. She started her brand after she had a near terminal brain tumor, had a brain surgery, and just decided, I don't know how that happened, started researching, found that toxicity was everywhere, and was not comfortable with all the stuff she ended up throwing out that she was using on her face and her hair and skin and whatnot, and started her own line. And she's in Sephora. She's really grown quite a bit. So we love her. Yeah. So, all right, friends, I have got to run. But I hope you guys have a great day. Do check out the links down below. I'll put up the AILLEA. I'll also post the direct link for the cortisol relief, as well as the T relief gel and my lymph stem. So some things I highlighted that wasn't planning on specifically digging into. I'll post those down below, but for sure, check out full script for all of those. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in. Give me a thumbs up. Do me a favor. When this wraps, go on the video and comment. I really appreciate that. And thanks, Pat, for always being such a great moderator. All right, you guys, have a good day. Bye.